Hello, and welcome to the Installation and Case Manager video guide for W4, Vound's robust forensic triage and investigation tool, which was released in July 2019. In this video, we'll briefly talk about what W4 is. Then, we'll walk through the installation process, creating a case, and adding evidence to that case. More in-depth videos that cover how to navigate W4 and begin the review workflow will be available in the video description. Let's begin with a brief overview of W4. W4 is a tool designed for triaging and fast review of computer forensic images and evidence, whether you're in the lab or in the field. Built to support time-sensitive investigations, W4 enables investigators to quickly assess evidence, identify items of interest, and generate clear, actionable reports. W4 can extract a wide variety of information from evidence, including user activity, registry artifacts, web browser artifacts, documents, emails, and much more. It also supports USB investigations, file and artifact correlation, timeline analysis, and user profiling, enabling investigators to quickly build a clear picture of events. Before installing W4, please review the minimum hardware and software requirements listed in the user manual. Depending on the size of the evidence you'll be indexing, different minimum specifications are required. In general, the better the hardware specs, the better the indexing performance, so we recommend exceeding the minimum requirements whenever possible. Installation is straightforward. Start by downloading the latest W4 installer from Vound's website. Then, right-click the installer file and select Run as Administrator. Type in your credentials if prompted, and follow the instructions in the installation wizard. First, read the welcome page and click Next. Agree to the license terms. Choose a folder that W4 should be installed to, then click Next. If the Next button is disabled, this may be because there is not enough available disk space. Ensure there is enough disk space before continuing. On this page of the wizard, you can optionally choose a Start Menu folder to put the W4 program shortcuts. Once ready, click Install. The installation may take a few minutes, depending on the specs of the host machine, though typically this only takes a few seconds. Once the installation is complete, click Finish. Note that W4 uses a hardware dongle to hold the license for the product, similar to some other Intella products. Ensure you plug the dongle into your system before running W4. After installation and plugging in the dongle, launch W4 from the desktop icon. When W4 launches, the Case Manager appears. From here, you have a few options. At the top is the menu bar. The File menu lets you gracefully quit the application. The Triage menu toggles physical memory capture on or off, and the Help menu provides resources, log folder access, and information about W4. On the left, the Case Manager includes buttons to create, open, browse, export, or process cases in Vound's other Intella products, such as Intella Professional. The center of the window displays the case list, where any W4 cases appear. Since the software is newly installed, we can create a new case or add an existing one. Let's create a new case. Creating a new case launches the New Case wizard. Enter a case name, optional description, and select a location to store the case. We recommend separating case data and evidence onto separate drives for improved performance and stability. Search profiles allow you to save and reuse customized search settings, filters, and configurations to streamline and standardize case processing across multiple investigations. In this demonstration, we'll keep this set to default. Next, you can configure memory allocation for W4. In most cases, leaving the memory allocation and crawler count set to their default values through auto mode will provide optimal performance and stability during indexing and review. Adjusting the memory requires technical expertise and can cause issues if it's improperly adjusted. Unless you have specific memory errors from W4, we recommend keeping the memory settings at Auto. Once you've verified your settings, click OK to create the case. The Case Manager window will close automatically, and W4 will load your new case. Once W4 has loaded, you'll be located in the Case tab. In this tab, you can add evidence, such as folders, disk images, local disks, or cell phone extraction reports. Before selecting one of these options, you may want to add a keyword list and a hash filter first, since these options affect the indexing process. Keyword lists allow specific terms to be searched during the indexing process. Click the Add Keyword List button, select a keyword list, and click Open to add it. Once it's added, you can change where W4 should search for these terms and change which artifacts that the list should be applied to. Artifacts are the various sources of evidence, like documents, chat messages, and system events, that W4 parses to reconstruct a user's actions. By selecting the corresponding checkbox, you can also enable full-text searching, rather than just metadata searching, case sensitivity searching, regular expression support, and allow keyword hits to be highlighted. Keyword lists can be deleted using the Delete button at the end of the row. And any pending changes can be saved by clicking the Save button at the bottom, or removed by clicking Discard Changes. Hash filters, on the other hand, can be created to exclude or tag items that have a specific known MD5 hash from a case. The so-called denisting of evidence data by using hash lists from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, is the most well-known application of such hash lists. It excludes many files that belong to the operating system or common software applications from your case. But you can also add other types of MD5 hash lists or create your own. Click the Click or Drop Source Here area to return to the screen where you can add a new source. Once any optional keyword lists and hash filters are configured, add evidence by dragging and dropping it or browsing to the source. In our case, we will add a disk image, navigate to that image, select it, and click Open. Now we can enter metadata such as the evidence name, description, examiner name, evidence number, and time zone. The processing scope defines what the scope of data that W4 will process. This option is only available for disk images and local disk sources only. By default, W4 will index the entire disk. But when this option is set to Registry Artifacts and User Folders, W4 will index the following items only: registry artifacts such as operating systems, user accounts, devices, programs. System artifacts found at common locations such as Windows Event Log, recently accessed files and folders, the recycle bin, and prefetch files. Any other artifacts, emails, documents, and media files found in user folders, for example C/users. The Files section shows which files make up this source. Below, in the Artifacts section, you can select particular artifacts that should be included for the indexing process. For example, you can include browser data, communication data, and so on. Below that, you can choose to index volume shadow copies to extract and process files, potentially revealing previous versions of documents and deleted files. The last section, Advanced, contains advanced processing options like processing archives and recovering deleted emails and files. Once the settings are configured and the source is ready to be indexed, click Save, then click Index All Sources to begin processing. During indexing, W4 switches to the Summary tab, where progress and identified artifacts are displayed and updated in real time. During this time, you'll be free to start your review process as the data for each item becomes available. Once indexing completes, the case status will show as complete. This concludes our video on W4 installation, case creation, and indexing. For a more detailed walkthrough of the review process, please refer to our Getting Started with W4 video, which has been linked in the video description. For any questions, please consult the Intella documentation and contact our support team regarding any technical issues. Thank you for watching.